This channel is made possible by viewers like you. My viewers, subscribers, and patrons greatly help to keep this channel going. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for all of you. Please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any uploads. And if you'd like to go the extra mile, please check out my Patreon page. For just $1 a month, you'll get access to what I'm working on, previews of upcoming content, and even early videos, along with other tier options for those that are interested. Thank you, and now on to the video. So there was a Rambo game that came out several years ago. It was going to feature us assuming the role of this beloved character. The game came out and it was revealed that it was going to be more of a rail shooter than a first-person or third-person shooting experience, where you could actually control the character fully. Personally, I haven't played it, but it seemed universally hated by both critics and players. So years later, when a Terminator game was revealed, there was a lot of caution around the same developers of the Rambo game making it. Now, Terminator Resistance is one that I did play and replay a few times. It's easily one of my favorite first-person shooters, and probably my favorite Terminator game. It seemed the studio was more than ready to prove that they could deliver an even deeper experience than their prior game. In many cases, fans cited this game as being the official third film within the franchise, and rightfully so. It was simply awesome. Critics didn't care for it, and they were simply wrong. So after this experience, players were wondering what these developers would do next. Would it be a sequel to Terminator, or maybe something else entirely? To all of our surprise, we were going back to the 80s, and going to be assuming the role of Robocop. And today I want to discuss this title, and I think, at least so far, it's going to make fans very happy. Now back in October, I had the opportunity to play an early version of Robocop Rogue City, and it told me an awful lot about the project and potentially what direction it was gonna go in. Because if what was provided wasn't good, then the developers didn't really have a lot of time to change the foundation of it. Like if the gameplay wasn't working, the shooting wasn't satisfying, or worse, if Robocop and his world was not respected and consistently presented based on the film. You can fix some things before a launch date, even this close, like improving performance and maybe an odd bug here and there. So even with the early build, I had a feeling we were headed in the right direction. Plus, the confidence on display by releasing this build on Steam for all to download told me that the fans were going to be happy with this one. Based on the reception I saw, along with my own personal opinion, I really liked and even loved much of what was provided. It seemed like they were capturing lightning in a bottle again, like they did with Terminator, and now doing it for another beloved 80s property. More importantly, going into this full game after playing the preview, the game feels even smoother than it did during the preview period. During the preview build, I felt that the controls and general feel of playing with a controller could be a bit smoother. I instantly felt that this was better in the full build. Sure, Robocop has some jank and visual bugs, but at least so far, the glitches I have seen are either not that bad or honestly kind of funny. My overall opinion so far is that I cannot get enough of this, and I hope that this greatness continues all the way to the credits. Because if it does, I'm going to be replaying this one very soon. When you think of a Robocop game, what would you initially expect when it comes to what the gameplay would be? Probably the first thing that would come to your mind would be featuring some violent shooting, with over-the-top dismemberment, and allowing the players to use the iconic Robocop pistol, the Auto 9. Well, right out of the gate with your first piece of gameplay, it's all of that. We get to live through a Robocop shootout, and it's glorious. The violence is on the level of the original, with limbs and heads all being blown off. Is it disgusting? Sure, in the best possible way. That makes video game violence so satisfying. Once I fired my gun, I could not get enough of it. Shooting both looks and sounds impactful, and the liberal use of blood and gore makes the enemies feel like they are all made of paper mache at times. To add on another layer of detail, some of the walls, items, and glass walls can even be broken as well. You could honestly just stick with your Auto 9 and be content with the entire thing, but there are other weapons to use as well. They provide some nice variety and have fixed amounts of ammo. Yes, the Auto 9 has unlimited bullets. It still does need to be reloaded, but you never need to worry about finding ammo. This honestly might even cause a bit of a balancing issue in the game, with never needing to find ammo. And who cares? This is part of the power fantasy of being Robocop. You feel like a walking tank, down to how you move along with how much damage you can take. Enemies can be dispatched pretty easily, but they try to outnumber you, peppering you with their guns, along with different types of more damaging weapons. In this area, it feels like it's done well, in how you tower over most people within the game, and can feel like this walking tank of a machine, with enemies scrambling to try and take you down. Robocop succeeds at loud action and within its more detective-like elements as well. It seems like 2023 is the year of incorporating investigation elements. Main missions along with side episodic cases allow for opportunities to survey a crime scene, find and examine all the evidence, and talking to any witnesses who can help you for that case. Much of the investigation stuff feels ripped from a point-and-click game and allows for simple interactions to keep you invested in the overall story of the investigation. Scanning is used a bunch as you try to find details within the environment to progress the case. Investigations provide a nice break between the shooting, and are just as enjoyable to go through, as these rely more on the writing of the game, which is really good as well. Robocop Rogue City looks and feels like a direct continuation from the universe we know. If you went from the film to this, it's kinda seamless. Peter Weller is back for the role of Robocop and helps significantly. Even the enjoyable satire and humor that the film is known for is present as well, and I laughed a bunch while playing the game too. Robocop has plenty of good, memorable one-liners. They managed to find a great balance between him being this stoic hero, and one that has plenty of humanity. The writing shows that the developers understand the character, and Weller's delivery shows that he still has it. Some of this is even seen in some of your choices you can make, and when they pop up, it's hard not to choose them because you'll want to see the outcome.
Is against the law.
Public? But this is my private sofa. I've dragged it all the way from the junkyard.
I will let you go this time, but remember that drinking in an unsuitable environment can lead to severe consequences.
Well, that's the whole point.
I had faith that this title would turn out to be really enjoyable. After you make something like Terminator Resistance, it's hard to regress into making something that does not respect the IP. But even so, we've seen situations where this does happen, and it honestly doesn't make any sense. But Robocop Rogue City is proving that lightning can strike twice for this company. Terminator Resistance will always have a special place in my heart, because after getting one of the worst sequels with Dark Fate, and I actually like some of the other Terminator films outside of 1 and 2 as well, but Dark Fate just spits on the franchise. Resistance was like the Christmas gift to the fans, and thankfully Robocop has not been hurt by modern writing nonsense, or any of this postmodern BS. So it's nice to see an IP return and not be crapped on or be used as a vehicle to push someone's agenda. Again, it feels like the developers were able to acquire the license to something they really cared about, and then worked really hard to deliver something that fans would want, because they were fans themselves, with the talent to make a great game. I have no idea where the review scores will end up for this one, and who cares what the critics think? Maybe they will love it as a means to overcompensate for hating on Resistance, or maybe Rogue City will receive some fair scores, or it'll be another situation like Resistance. All I know is that while I'm not done with this title, I am enjoying every minute of it, and I already want to replay it. If you're a Robocop fan, I'm sure you already have this pre-ordered, or you're already playing it now. I, for one, am loving it. Are you looking forward to playing Robocop Rogue City? Are there any other Robocop games that you like? Let me know all of this in the comments down below. If you're interested in being notified of new videos, please hit the subscribe button and bell. And if you would like to support the channel and get early access to content, please check out my Patreon. All of the links will be at the end of this video and within the description. And thank you very much for watching.